Okay, I am just reading through the Tombs of Amaska changes part of this blog. Obviously, there's more to it, but I'm just going to focus on Tombs for now. I read this last night and, took 12 hours to calm down because, honestly, these changes after a year, for me, specifically for the Baba Room, are absolutely pathetic. Like, normally I try and be positive around here. I normally try and not shit on the developers, but the fact that we've waited a year and the only changes they're talking about are spawn timers either shows a lack of not listening, or they have no idea anything that goes on in that room and why people really hate it. I'm just going to rattle up a few things off the top of my head that specifically should be fixed and are the real core issues of the room, because they only talk about one real thing, the spawns, which is definitely an issue, but whatever. So issue number one for me is the room size. Like, this puzzle is obviously inspired by Nilo. It's clear that it's inspired by Nilo. Nothing wrong with that. Nilo Waves is the funnest part of Tob for me, and the more you do Tob, I think the more you appreciate how good Nilo is. The boss is pretty resident, but it's whatever. But the waves are really cool. Like, you'll enter this like flow state of knowing exactly what's going on and like one-shotting stuff and immediately knowing where the next thing's going. It's fantastic. I love it. But it, like I say, it looks like they just looked at Nylon and thought, why don't we times two this? Instead of 3 pillars, we've got 4 pillars and one in the middle, you know? Instead of 3 lanes, we've got 6 lanes. And the room is just too big because of that. Now, I spent like 2 minutes in Blender this morning giving, just cutting the room in half, cutting out that pillar, and it just makes the room so much better. Like, get rid of the pillar and you get rid of the 2 lanes in the middle, then you got 4 lanes for the monkeys to spawn and 2 pillars. The room is like what? 5 tiles narrower? And there's no line of sight break. What the hell does the pillar do to make this room better? They talk about it in here, how you can use it to stack monkeys. No. You can do that, but you can also use it to just completely destroy your clicks. You click something and the monkey passes around the corner, oh, it's pulling you around, it's pulling you into an absolute mess of a train that is there. It doesn't promote positive gameplay to me. I think it's just inherently bad level design. Just make the room square. In fact, even looking at my render right now, I would make it even smaller. I'd make it narrower. I'd make it two tiles narrower. Because it doesn't need to be this big. Like, even with 8 people, that room is fucking huge. The second issue that I have with this is pretty much what they're talking about. You know, the monkey limit of the room, and it just slowing down really quickly, really easily, depending on the RNG spawns that you get. I think they do pretty much cover the changes with what they have said. I'm okay with that. But something else that I would like to add is, I don't think, for example, you got the special monkeys, right? Like the acid, the volatile, and the shamans. I think there should be a limit on the amount of times they can spawn per puzzle. I don't know how many specials you can get right now, but for example, say if you put a cap on the shaman can only spawn 6 times in a single puzzle. So then if it rolls a shaman again on like it's going to spawn it next wave, it instantly goes to one of the other 2 bosses. Because the shaman slows down the room so much more than the other 2 specials. Like the volatile, pop it, it's gone. The acid, it's really not that hard to deal with. But the shaman, it spawns crap. It's just a pain. I would personally like that change. Removing RNG for this room completely would be the be-all end-all, but I think that's like a personal preference for me, saying I'd rather have set waves than RNG waves. I'm not going to say that's an actual issue with the room. That's just preference. I'd rather have completely set waves so you can learn them, memorize them, and get better at them. But I think what I'm saying here with putting a limit on the amount of specials that can spawn, like a specific special, is like a good in-between. Because say you're going for a speed run, which I know is not that a lot of people are doing that, but hey, say you're going for a speed run and you just get all shamans. Fun. Also, like, something with the spawns that I'd like to change, specifically with the shamans, is I think that if we're going to add this where more monkeys can spawn and it doesn't slow the waves down as much, it kind of reduces the benefit of targeting a specific monkey now over another. So I think you should have a higher incentive for killing a shaman early. For example, I think that when the shaman initially spawns, the first thrall should spawn at like X amount of ticks after it spawns, and then it should get increasingly faster up to a certain point the longer the shaman is alive. So saying like if it's been alive, it's just come out and it spawns its first thrall, it spawns it, then the next thrall will spawn in like 25 ticks, and the thrall after that will be 22 ticks, and then 19 ticks, and up to, a limit. I don't know how fast they should spawn and what the timing would be on that, because it's just an idea that I've had literally 5 minutes ago, but I think that would give an incentive to kill shamans early as opposed to, hey, just bring chins. I think you should have more than one choice in dealing with something, but hey-ho. Another thing as well that they touch on is and this isn't even a question that they're going to ask. They talk about it, but, we can't have a question for that because that'd be too much. One question per room, thank you very much. They talk about adding the ability to make volatile baboons explode and do damage to other things. First of all, we should change the name to baboomers, because it's just better. And secondly, they just don't feel dangerous. Like, I know this change is good, but like I said, again, not polling this change. This change is not polled in the question, unless I'm blind. It just says one question. So first of all, let's have that as a question. Let us choose. Secondly, how about we start adding some invocations that were promised a year ago? The whole idea of this raid being a framework and we can have things added in the future, we can build upon it. It's been nearly a year. We've had nothing. This is the first talk of an update in 11 months or whatever, and this is it. One question on this room. It's a joke. If you're worried about overwhelming players, why don't we add some invocations? For example, you can have this volatile baboomer kick off. You can have them do damage to other monkeys, but they can also do damage to the players. The way I would balance this is, for example, the baboomers can do 50% damage, base HP damage to other monkeys in the room and always one-shot thralls. But if they hit the player, they do double the damage they would normally do. Also, another invocation you can add for this room if you're worried about overwhelming players, you could literally have the fast spawns as quicker waves, but turning on quicker waves also means that, one, you can be overrun, and two, the volatile baboons can now run and they explode quicker, because they aren't a threat right now. If you get hit by a volatile baboon, it's because, you know what I'm going to say, you suck. But, like, how do you get hit by them? They're so slow, and they take so long to blow up. I would love it if they ran. It did something. Another issue with the room is the scaling, specifically in teams. I think the HP scaling is completely ridiculous, and at certain points, man, it just takes so much damage to put down some of these monkeys. Like the shaman just has so much HP in like a six man plus. It is just juice to the gills. And if you're gonna imitate Nilo, which once again, this is clearly an imitation of Nilo, why wouldn't you just do it right? In my opinion, there should be no defense on these monkeys. There should be one defense. It should be like Nilo. It should be one defense. The HP should be a lot lower, and you shouldn't be able to hit them with every single style. You should lock their defense to style defense, like you can only kill them with a melee weapon, you can only kill them with a ranged weapon, you can only kill them with a magic weapon. And if you lower their HP, you also speed the room up by them, one, having less defense, and two, because the HP is lower, you can promote different weapon choices in the room. For example, you could make, if you do the HP low enough, then the ham joint and the swift blade become better. Hey, maybe you start bringing a Din's Bulwark spec because it's so big and it's so powerful and the HP is so low now that you can one-shot a ton of monkeys. Am I insane for thinking that makes the raid more fun by adding more ways to kill stuff? I could be wrong. I'm kind of just trying to, you know, go off the dome here and be realistic with what I would like to see changed, but I'm specifically putting my opinion out there just to know, like, what other people think. Are these like crazy things I'm saying, or what? But yeah, just reading that, I think it's I don't know. Like I say, I'm normally positive about the game, and I'm normally very lenient on updates. But I think when we're approaching a year and you have had a ton of complaints about this room in specific, this puzzle in specific, and the only question you ask is quicker spawns, I think it's just insulting. It's like, why even give feedback when this is how they respond? What's the point? They don't listen. I think the Akka change is good. Hopefully this means as well, if you've got a Thrall up, it won't count as a damaging hit. You never know with zeros, man. A 0 could be a hit. I hope they mean damaging is literally 1+. And the invocation menus, whatever. The wilderness stuff, you know, I'm not going to talk about that. But like, why don't we, you know, add some, you know, some invocations? Like we were meant to get, like you promised us. Where are they? I know we've got Desert Treasure 2 coming out. We could at least start a discussion. Anyway, I wanted to get that bit of anger out of me. I hope it didn't come out too aggressive, but it's just a shame, you know? Obviously, I care about this game. Obviously, I'm not trying to ruin the fun of others. But it is just disheartening when you wait for these changes and this is it. I felt the same way with the Cox changes. Like when I heard that the Cox changes were coming, this was months ago when we got the chest. When I heard we were getting Cox changes, I was like, oh, cool, we're gonna, you know, they're gonna fix Mutt, they're gonna fix Tecton. No, they literally just put a chest in the raid and called it a day. Like, how can you not expect to be disappointed? How can I look at a blog that says TOA changes and not be disappointed by there being one question on the worst room? I mean, forget the boss. Like, we're not even talking about the boss. Yeah, I'm going to calm down. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if I'm being too harsh or what, because obviously my perspective is going to be from where I am currently in the game, not from where others are in the game, and it's hard to see from that point of view if you haven't been there in a while. But yeah, bye.